Hello and welcome yet again to Forgotten Temples with myself, Mr. B. Now, not far from here is the mighty Angkor Wat, built by Suryavarman II in the 12th century, a complex that covers over 400 acres. It is the largest religious complex in the world, and it is a fantastical sight. But there is more, because to feed this mighty empire that was like a living, breathing animal, it needed arteries to feed directly to its beating heart. And what we have here is one of those arteries. This is an ancient road. And where we are is at the point of a bridge, because this is pretty much all that survives of that ancient road, is the occasional spasmodic bridge, because, well, modern world has taken over. But these mighty constructions, nigh on 1,000 years later, still survive. And if you have an imagination, they can quite literally come to life. And it is very much about imagination and the thirst to dream. Because I stood right here approximately 2 years ago, and I made my first ever video, well, the first time I appeared on camera. And little did I know where it would take me. The journey I have been on in the past 2 years has beyond anyone's wildest dreams. It has been absolutely amazing. Let me first show you a quick slot of that first ever video and that first ever intro. See what a delight we've come to see today. Now, this is Spian Mime. Now, Spian means bridge over here in Cambodia. And this is a delight of a bridge. Now, little did I know that from there, within 2 years, I would become the most famous Westerner in the entire country. And it's not just for these videos. There's all this other stuff as well. There's attention from various media groups. I've ended up being a news anchorman at 2 major channels. It's amazing. Now, that story, if you're interested, is in another video which relates to me requesting questions to do a Q&A video. So if you're interested in how I ended up almost died 3 times in intensive care due to my addictions and me overdosing, and how I pulled myself out of hell, and the journey that I went on that took me to such fantastic places that has made me such a recognizable face, but more importantly has saved my life, then please look at the video below, because that will explain all. It's about 15 minutes long, but that's because the journey has been so incredible. So much has happened to me. So if you're interested in the backstory, then that video is below. But for right now, we've got this amazing bridge to look at. And if you remember the link line there, it's all about imagination. Because with imagination, the world is not a black and white place like it is for so many adults. It is a place of many dimensions and of many beautiful colours. I mean, right under here, trolls could live for all I know. There is some particularly interesting bird footprints in the mud. They're absolutely huge. They're about that big. So something goes in there at night, a bird, and he shelters there. So this is a home now for wildlife. But long ago, nigh on 1,000 years ago, it was something much more. It was in fact crucial to an entire empire. And we do need to engage our imagination to bring this road back to life. I am actually walking on it right now, and as you can tell, it ain't what it used to be. There's, oh my lord, you should see the thorns on that thing. There is vines, nature's tripwires all over the place. But this, as I say, was once an archery. This was pivotal to the survival of an empire. And I'm not taking the camera off the road or something to try and make it a bit more interesting, because I don't do that. This is actually what was the road. It's the main road, your interstate, maybe in America or in England, our motorways in Germany, an autobahn. But look at it now. And that is why you need a bit of the old imagination to bring these places back to life. But we can do so because directly behind the camera where you are is that bridge, and that is the last surviving piece of that major archery. And here it is, and it is quite simply awe-inspiring. Remember, directly behind the camera was the previous shot. It's all just jungle, but here we get a very clear idea as to what was actually going on. Look where I stand right here. You see these mighty blocks creating a very solid base. And if I step away just for a moment, we will see the width of this thing. Let me go up here. 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter, 5 meter, 6 meter, 7 meter, almost spot on 8 meters. Now, why is that? Well, my guess would be the average carriage is about 3.5 meters. So you can have ingress and egress coming and going without any delays, because the blood life of this empire was its trade, and going this way is Angkor Wat, the largest religious complex, as I say, in the entire world. But it wasn't just trade, which came from all over the world and could have taken many long months to get here. Such finery from India, stuff from China. I mean, it literally came from thousands of miles away. And this is where it ended up. But we must remember where this road went, because this road led to what was the equivalent of Oz. You know, from the Wizard of Oz. So we can take ourselves back with our imagination, and we, going back 1,000 years, can become an ancient, for we are walking in their very footprints. And if we think like them for a moment and recall where it is that they have come from wooden buildings that are one single story with thatched roofs. Wooden buildings with thatched roofs. You have to amplify that in your mind, because what we are heading towards is a temple that is so mighty, so vast, it consumed 10 million blocks of stone. And if that is not enough, it outdoes the pyramids at Giza in Egypt by an awful long way, because they just cut their stones on the plateau, the Giza plateau, and then built the pyramid. What these guys did would move them for hundreds of kilometers. And you imagine the ancients that walked this very path, who've never seen a stone building ever. They've never conceived of a stone building because it's just mental to do so. I mean, why try the impossible? They don't have newspapers or pictures. They may have heard, rumours of this amazing city, which is exactly like Oz. But as they walked down this road, you can only imagine the anticipation that was building in their minds. I mean, the only comparison I can ever come up with, for them, it must have been like coming across a spaceship from another planet. It quite simply would have blown their minds. A bridge that was quite simply crucial to an entire empire. The city of Angkor Wat, it is said, had a population of 1 million people, the biggest city the world has ever seen. And it took many, many hundreds of years before England was to equal that with London, a city that was to go on and change the entire world, with the birth of the Industrial Revolution, being born in the north of England, but then really taking hold in the docks and the trading houses of London. But back before London was Angkor Wat, and there was this bridge, and there was pilgrims that walked across it, and they saw such fantastical things that when they walked the other way, going back out into the countryside, they took with them tales that were so fantastical of buildings, of gold, of trade, of finery, that I'm absolutely sure a fair majority were just called liars, or they were just making it up. But a few of them, I'd like to think, would have been able to draw, and they picked up some charcoal and a piece of wood, and they sketched by the moonlight or by the light of a crackling fire. And they said to the children, "You should see what's down that road. It is quite simply amazing." And they sketched in charcoal those amazing temples of Angkor Wat. And just maybe a few of those children were inspired to take this very road and to seek out wonders themselves, because that is exactly what I have done. And as I say, it was right over there that I shot my first ever video. And I took this road, I suppose, and my God, did it ever open up the world to me. I have seen wonders. Now, as always, I ask you to like, subscribe and comment. And if by chance you could sprinkle a few coins to help me build up this library, then it's very simple. It is www.patreon.com/temples. And as always, I wish you absolutely nothing but the very best. You be sure to take good care now.